Hello, everyone. How you guys doing? It's your boy Dave Saxologist on Saxofriends. Today, I have another outstanding guest, and this is a saxophone show, but it's called Saxofriends. So we have a saxophonist and a vocalist, educator, all wrapped in one. And she is one powerhouse, and she goes by the name of Shay on sax. And I'm telling you, she's something else on sax. So let me introduce you. Hello, Shay. How are you?
Hello, hi Dave. Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining me because I know you could have been doing a lot of other things, but you decided to spend a little time with me, so I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So let's find out about, which one first of all, I want to know which one came first, the singing or the music? Which came
Well,
first?
I guess if you ask my parents, my cries came first. So I've been singing since I was a little girl. But saxophone is actually like my primary love and introduction into music. But I grew up singing. My mother sings and my father plays saxophone. And so I was in a musical household. I come from a lineage of musicians, and so it's just there. But saxophone was my primary instrument for sure.
That's all right. So you said your dad played?
My dad played
Yeah.
saxophone. Yeah,
Was he
yeah.
did
And
he
my
play professional or did he?
he played professionally. He did a lot of he played in several bands growing up, and then after a while him and my mother, they met in a band, and they started a two-piece group that played local shows and things like that. So yeah.
That's all right. So how old were you doing when you remember? What do you remember about your dad playing the saxophone that intrigued you
E-
about it?
every piece of it.
Yeah.
And if you ask people that know my dad and that played with my father, they're gonna tell you that I sound just like him. I'm pretty much a replica. We have very similar sound. And my father was a huge Grover Washington fan, and so I grew up on the smooth jazz with Grover and Huge Groove and all them. Uh, Kirk Whalum, everybody, all the smooth jazz cats. So that's what I grew up listening to. But my father's father also played saxophone. And he actually played with like Nat King Cole sometimes. He toured around with him for a little bit, and then he did some stuff with the several different bands. Yeah. So my grandfather is also saxophone, clarinet,
Wow,
trombone. They did my father and my grandfather both played brass too. But yeah, so
that's all right though. So
yeah.
when you first started the sax, so did it come to you? Did it come to you easily, or did it struggle, or how was it?
Yeah, it was pretty natural. Back when I was a little girl, they had toy saxophones that actually emulated saxophones.
I remember those.
Nowadays, you press a button, they play a whole song. But
Yeah.
when I grew up, we had to actually play the notes. So I was learning the notes as a really young, 6 years old, 7 years old. I had my little, and I started really playing by the time I was 8, and I loved it so much. I used to practice all the time, and I had my book. My father gave me a book, gave me a horn, and said, "Go figure it out." And then I'd go into a room and I sat there and I read up how to put it together. I read up how to and all that. And then every now and then he'd say, F sharp,
Yeah.
from downstairs. So
So
yeah.
how did you what about the armature? That's one of the hardest things to get sometimes. What about getting the right armature so that you could get that sound right? Did it take you a while to get that? Because you know how we bite and do all that other
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was just really natural for me. I'm a visual learner, so I saw him play all the time. So I had a pretty good sound when I was young. I used to play with a lot of vibrato and stuff. So when I got to college, I had a professor kind of, round me out, get me together and even out my tone a little bit, because I like to use vibrato when I was younger for sure. I still do. I still do.
And you know what? That's a beautiful thing, especially you got to because you have a really nice vibrato. if I had a bravado like yours too, I think I'd do it a little bit more. You know, because you got to be right with that vibrato now. You know.
Oh yeah. 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 And that's what when I got to college, one of my professors, he cut me off of it for like a whole year. I wasn't allowed to use it at all. And just to break me of the habit. And then after that, we started implementing it back into my routine. And that's when I really started to kind of phrase with it as well. So yeah.
So while you were growing up with your dad in there, all the music around, did you take less private lessons as well when you were growing up?
Um, at one point I did. I did it. I didn't start taking private lessons probably till high school when I started to compete and, do the ensemble contests and things like that. But growing up, I didn't really, he was right there downstairs yelling, B flat.
Yeah.
so, yeah, not really.
Did you have pretty good ear?
Oh yeah, yeah. The ear's my strength. It took me because as a matter of fact, the very first song I ever learned to play was the Gato Barrier song, Fiesta.
Okay.
And I used to sit there and we had to play it and rewind it and play it on a
Yeah.
little, tape player. I had a CD. So that gives you a little insight. I had a
Yeah.
CD player, and I would go back and listen to the song, and I had a notebook, a little scratch notebook, and I would say uh, F, and I'd go pick another A, and
Yeah.
I'd write the notes down, not on the staff, just the big letters, and I'd
Yeah.
look at the letters, and I'd play, and I learned the song, and I put on concerts in the house. I made all the family come in, and I set chairs out and everything in the living room and say, okay, I'm getting ready to play the song. And so yeah, so that's how I learned mostly by ear. I learned by ear. And then I started reading music when I got to school band, of course. But I used to cheat all the time. And my band director would say, Shayla, quit cheating, because I would go and listen to the song and learn it, and
Yeah.
then come back and play it, so or I'd wait for somebody else to play it right. So yeah.
That's all right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I started reading better in college. That's when I really started being able to read a lot better. But he was my college professor at Xavier University, Dr. Tim Turner. He used to pull charts out every other day, so we didn't really have a
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
Well, that's good though. So you went through you learned all the theory and all that good stuff even before college. You had all that down already, or
I started taking music theory like maybe my senior year of high school. I graduated early and I started taking college music courses then. But I mean, I started music theory more so in college. My concept um of uh chord structure and things like that, it was I barely ever knew what key I was playing in when I was younger,
yeah,
because I played so much by ear and I just had fun with it. Um, and I picked up pretty fast. I could hear changes pretty well to know where I would go. And I never thought about, even to this day, I still don't really think a whole lot about the notes and where I'm going so much as patterns in my fingers. Um, it's a feel thing for me, very much a feel thing. Yeah.
what are some of your go-to exercises that you practice even to this day?
Okay. So the problem is we'll see how they come through. But I still play triad pairs. I do I work out of the Croker Patterns for Jazz book a lot. And so I pick different patterns and things like that. But
I'm sorry, could you what's the name of that again, you said?
triad pairs.
But the name of the book, what was the name of the book?
Oh, I think it's Jamie Croker. It might be. It's Patterns for Jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Patterns for
write
Jazz.
that down.
So that's when I open up, and because I teach as well, and my favorite book of all time, but it's not a jazz book by any means. It's the Universal Method
Universal
book.
Method book.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the first. That's the book. That's the book
Yes.
my dad handed me and said, "Go learn from this." And you give a child a book like that now, they'll be like, "What is this?"
That's a lot. That's a lot of
it's a
information
lot.
in there.
It's a lot, but it takes you from day one to
You know what? That's true.
828.
And you know what? They got a more modern version. I got the
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
they got a more modern
Yeah.
version now. I remember that other one was like it was huge, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
very
As a matter of fact, let me show you mine. It's sitting on the music stand right
yeah,
here.
let me see it.
This You'd be surprised to see this.
It's all spread out and oh yeah, yeah.
This I got pages coming out the back that I can just pull out. Yeah, this page has been out of the back for so long, but I still teach out of this book and all that. And as a matter of fact, the back came off, so I put cardboard and
I
taped it up. So yeah, I still got my original. I don't
still got the
know.
original. That's all right.
Yeah, this is my Bible. This is my saxophone
That's
Bible.
it. So when did you start teaching?
um, when I was in middle school, my band director she used to have me teach some of the other students on like lunch hours and stuff like that. So that's why I kind of got the passion for teaching because I would show the other I was always like section leader or something. I grew up in a small town, so I was a big fish in a little pond,
Okay.
and so I started teaching it. And actually, I got my first adult student probably when I was in high school, and so which was kind of weird at first because I was really young and he was just starting and things like that. But I had a few adult students when I was younger as well. But so I've kind of been teaching as almost as long as I've been playing. But that's really, I say that, but for me, teaching is learning a lot of from and it is like that for most teachers. But yes, very much so. I learn more from teaching others because you set expectations for yourself, for your students, and then on top of that, you find different ways to communicate how to execute things. And the more you start to communicate that, it starts to kind of build, more space for you to learn from as well. So.
That's good. So how old
Mhm.
were you when you got paid for your first professional gig?
Yeah. Well, okay. When I got paid,
When you got paid,
when
yes.
I got paid because when I was younger, my dad used to take me to the clubs. I remember in middle school, my band director, she called and she said, "Shayla's saxophone case smells like cigarette smoke." And he said, "Well, that's because I had her at American Legion Post 809 last night playing." And so, but yeah, so my first paid gig outside of my dad and like working with him, I was 17. Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was I got in, well, actually I take that out, it's probably about 16. I got in a band called DK Money. Yeah, it was a
All right.
guy. Yeah, it was the
DK
name of the
money
band.
on them, huh?
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you what, and this is so sad to say, is one of the highest paying gigs I've ever had. One of the highest paying. But out of he was a young man himself, but his parents were very, very well off, and they were attorneys and lawyers and things, and we played these parties and I made some really good money with DK Money, which was nice because it set the bar for me really young to have expectations because I think that's really important for musicians, to champion themselves when it comes to, a paid gig.
Right.
So,
All right. So let me ask you about saxophones. Which I know you play alto. Do you play tenor, soprano, or
I do. I play tenor as well. Alto. Alto's my primary. I play tenor secondary. I've got a soprano. I play on it,
yeah,
for every now and then I'll pull it out at a gig and stuff like that. Just because it's fun. I really like the soprano because it's so small and I can just leave it out around the house and just pick it up in a room and walk around and play.
right.
Uh, without feeling so much pressure on my neck and stuff. So but yeah, so I also play a little bit of flute. I started playing flute post college. After college, I started playing flute and then a little bit of clarinet as well. And so I try to keep myself grounded in the woodwind section.
Yeah.
I call my studio at the house the woodwind room.
Yeah. There you go. How many
Yeah.
saxophones do you own?
Um that I have one, two, three, four, five, six, 5 or 6 horns, or so it's that seven, maybe seven.
7. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got 9. So it's something about us though. It's like, but two of them are Ewees though. So I got 3
Oh yeah.
altos, I got 2 tenors, 2
Yeah.
sopranos, one curve, once, and then I got 2 Ewees. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how it
I haven't
is.
played on the EWI. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. I got horns just kind of laying around, and I've got horns that I'll lend, to be, and then there's other horns that nobody else can touch.
What are you playing? What's your primary? What brand you playing? Yourself.
Okay, so I've always been a Selmer girl.
Okay.
I've and my flute Selmer, my clarinet, my alto, my tenor. My tenor's a Mark 7,
Okay.
which I really enjoy. And I was playing an auto link mouthpiece. I actually just switched mouthpiece on my tenor. And now I'm on a Jody Jazz. It just gives me a real
Which one?
fat sound.
Which one you on?
I'd have to even go look, because it's an older mouthpiece that one of my mentors passed down to me. Is it
Jet. It could be the Jet or
Yeah.
the Super Jet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to
Yeah.
I'd have to look,
I
to be
got
honest, because I just pulled it out not long ago. I said I want a bigger sound, and so I grabbed that. I just had that laying around, and then on my alto, so I was playing a Selmer Super 80 Action Series
you.
3 for a long time. I still have that horn, and then I took a student to Sax Quest in St. Louis. Have you ever been?
Uh-uh.
It's in St. Louis, Missouri, in Illinois, because of course that's where I'm from. But not St. Louis, but yeah. Um, you go in there from floor to ceiling. There's saxophones on the walls, every wall in the room. It's just saxophones, and they have practice rooms upstairs. And when you're shopping there, you can shop mouthpieces, horns, and all that. And what they do, they give you a horn, they give you a room, they lay out 3 or 4 different mouthpieces, several different reed combinations. You get to go up and it's one of the few shops I know of that you can do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Try pairing different. That outside of ordering and sending stuff back and all that kind of stuff, you can do it right there. But so I took a student there. We did, 2 students. One bought a mouthpiece, the other one bought a P Moriat.
Okay.
And I remember when he bought it because he was shopping for it, and I said, so he was playing all these different horns and trying to pick one, and his mom, she wanted to get him a good horn, and so I remember the bottom end just being so round and luscious, and just
Yeah.
for the bottom end of that Timoria. So I called him not long ago. I said, hey, what's going on with that Timoria you got? Is it collecting dust? He's a little wise kid. He said, "Oh, Shay, isn't everything collecting dust?" Needless to say, I said, "Okay." He sent it to me. His mom and he hasn't been playing it, and so he sent it to me, and they pretty much just gave me the horn, which is really nice. And when I got it, I actually got it for the last. It was a couple years back for the record I was doing because I wanted to get some good, bottom sounds on my record. And so I've been playing it ever since it's been in the house.
All right.
I put my little Selmer to the side. It's got great action. I've heard some people say things about P. Moriarty's, but and then I've heard others say great things. It's a mixed
Yeah.
feeling. I don't know. Sometimes it might be the actual horn who manufactured it at that time, or timing or something. But this horn is great. It's great. It plays like the butterflies.
Yeah.
Just
What mouthpiece you
yeah.
using on that one?
And I'm using the Meyer on that one.
My
Yeah.
5 medium chamber.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
mouthpiece.
Because I was classically trained in college, and so I started on. In college, I started playing. I used to play Claude Lakey's big
Okay.
old.
Yeah.
That's what Dad had me on.
Yeah.
Dad had me on a Lakey. So I was cutting through the band. he want to make sure his baby. He want
Yeah.
to make sure his baby girl was heard.
Yeah.
And so, and then when I got to college, I switched to a classical mouthpiece for that type of literature, and I started playing a caravan. So I played caravan for classical. I don't play as much classical now, but I really enjoy it, and I've played some orchestral stuff post college. I've been asked to play some different pieces, but and that Meyer was just a good in between,
Yeah.
going from especially having such something so open as the Lakey. Then
Right.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So
so when you in your band, so first of all, what kind of band do you use when you go out? How many piece band is when you go out and do your concerts, or what do you normally use?
yeah, so locally, I kind of stick with like a trio quartet kind of thing. Um, just because I do a lot of private country clubs, and private parties. I like to do I do corporate gigs and stuff, but a lot of my stuff is intimate. That's local, and I like that intimate feeling. So I keep the band kind of small, but but I used to manage the 12-piece band, and then I used for especially for different shows. But yeah, and now most of the time maybe 6 or 7 pieces, just to be economical.
Understand?
But I always go over the top. I do too much, and next thing you know, I'm, you know, asking for $1 million.
Well, you know what? But you're bringing actually you're bringing two things to the show though. You're not just bringing saxophone. You're bringing vocals as well. So, and
Yeah.
you got a beautiful voice, by the way, too, though. So,
Thank you.
yeah, you
Thank
got the
you.
whole package going though. So, what is it about singing that? What was it about singing that made you want to do both? Play sax and sing.
Um, money. When I started my first band back when I was 17 years old, I didn't want to pay a vocalist. Yeah, if I'm gonna be transparent.
Right.
So I wanted a quartet. We ran keys, bass, and drums with myself singing and playing saxophone. And so that's when I started really singing out. And it panned out really well. People complimented me on my voice quite a bit, and things like that. So I really picked it up picked it up from the beginning of my career in music is when I started singing.
Yeah. So do a lot of your shows you sing a little bit, or do you just balance it, or you just do a little bit singing? How does it work usually?
I'll be honest, I do a lot of bit singing. My shows are almost primarily me singing, and then I take solos on just about every song, or there's a lot of times if I have a longer show, I for if I have a longer show that's again like the local thing is a little different because I play more covers. When I go out and I tour things or I play elsewhere or different things, I do my set with my original songs. But if I have a longer show, I'll start off with like an instrumental set, kind of get everybody warmed up, go for break and come back and play some more, and then start singing in the second set or something like that. But when I go out for with my shows, a lot of times I just come right out with the voice and do my
Well,
thing.
well, you know what? That which brings me to let's talk about your latest project that's dropping on the 31st. Tell us about that.
I'm excited. I'm excited. The song is called "Igniting My Fire," and it is a manifestation love song. It's about a couple getting married. It's like a marriage song. And so it's just really, really beautiful. It's got this nice little groove kind of thing happening. at the beginning, and then it's got a bridge where it kind of goes through the vowels and stuff like that. So I'm my plan was to drop it actually in June because it's wedding season, so
Hmm.
and it's just the content and the nature of the song. It's just the perfect, first dance and things like that, or anniversary song. And so, uh, but I was being really picky, so I had to go back and fix some stuff on the master. But yeah, so it ended up now it's coming out July 31st. But and it's got a saxophone solo in it. Most of my original songs, it's myself, and then it's got a beautiful saxophone solo. I play flute and clarinet on the record as well. I play flute and clarinet on almost every record, somewhere in there, and then stack some beautiful horns in the background doing stuff. So yeah.
So, have you ever been with a label, or are you independent, or how you doing your thing?
I'm independent. I've never been with a label. I don't know if the label would ever let me spend as much money as I do on my songs. But nowadays everybody cuts corners.
Yeah.
I've been so very, very fortunate to work with co-producer Bobby Sparks. And he's taught me so much in my production, and then also open doors for some from some great networking and connections to meet musicians to play on my records. So I do self produce the records and record. Most of my stuff is recorded at home, and then I send, I'll write a a demo track, and things like that in the studio, and then I'll go and have everybody, put their little 2 cents on it, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cents. Next thing you
Okay.
know, it's been such a thrill over the last probably 6 or 7, maybe about 7, 8 years really, with the musicians that I've met and get a chance to play with, and so honored that they like my music, they dig what I'm doing, and they contribute so ever so greatly on my records. So yeah.
What kind of band leader are you? Are you a taskmaster, or are you just like, guys, we just got to have this together, so when we get on stage we ready to go, or what kind of band leader are you? You get on them butts?
Again, I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I just had a conversation with the keyboard player, um, and he said, "Well, sometimes you kind of hard a little sometimes, And I said, "Me, you know." And then I go to the drummer and I say, "Hey, am I ever coming off a little abrasive?" He said, "No, you're fine." And then he looked at me, he said, "He's the drummer." He said he ain't playing no chords. And here they go, which was just so funny to me and tickled me, because everybody contributes the same. But in all respect to keyboard players, they carry a lot of heavy weight, and
Yeah.
especially if they're cutting it down to a trio and they're cutting bass too. But and then also I teach younger children, so they say that I'm harder during the school years, and then in the summer they go, "Oh, Shayla's back." I don't like to repeat myself during the during the year,
That's all
but I
right.
try. I try my best. I really try my best to just let some things just flow, because with musicians, they're only able to give the best of themselves when they can really feel themselves. So I try my best to just stay out the way a little bit, and just congratulate everybody when they show up on time and get there, and everybody's really good with me. Everybody's very professional that I work with. I'm very honored, so I don't have to deal with folks showing up late to gigs and you know uh drinking too much on a gig or something like that. Everybody's very professional, stand up players, so I don't have to deal with too much. And they're all fine players, better than myself. So I oftentimes I'm like, I don't want to say too much. I'm learning from them a lot still. So
That's all right though. But you know what? Hey, so what does how did you make the decision to become a solo artist and not try to pursue a band or something like that though? That was looking for a
uh,
saxophonist.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've done that too, and from time to time I'll freelance and work in some other people's bands, but not very often. It is very rare. I'm a very organized person, and when I started my band, I started working at 16, 17 years old playing. It just kind of rolled, and it just was became what I do. That's just so it came natural, real natural.
You know, being, you've been doing this for a minute. So some of the pitfalls of being a female and being black and all, did you experience any of those things that you could just blatantly know it was that? Or if it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. The female part is harder in this industry, and even the yeah, and black, yeah, because especially when I was younger, coming up playing in all these country clubs and things, but uh, but not so much with the race because a lot of times people really respect your gift and your talent, and when they get a chance to see and hear you play, they become fans and want to really dig you. So and they want to have a good time, and I'm very personable on stage, so that part has never been an issue with my audiences. And now the female part's just tough because you just it's just always kind of getting hit on. I don't know a polite way to say
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
it. Yeah, they're coming at you left and right, and then if you're in a relationship, you got to deal with having a partner that can handle seeing that and navigating through it and things like that. I mean, I'm very I carry myself well, so a lot of men kind of know how to approach me, and it's very respectful, but you still have those moments, where people try to cross the line and reach up on stage or something like crazy like that. It's that part's a little tough.
Have you ever had a fan interaction that went kind of like, like what you kind of alluding to now?
Yeah, yeah,
So you,
I've
you
had a
have
few. I've had a yeah,
is
yeah.
anything you can share
I,
with us?
um, well, one, uh, I've been when Facebook they first started putting phones numbers or something out.
Yeah.
I had somebody, messaging me, telling me they saw me at a show and blah blah blah, and then they started calling my phone. I didn't know how they got my number and called a million times, and then started saying inappropriate things and this and that. I've been followed to my car, leaving when I used to work Bourbon Street, New Orleans for about. Now there I did free. That's when I worked for other
Okay.
bands a lot. I worked on Bourbon Street 6 nights a week playing pop, funk, and soul for about 5 years. And so I've been followed home from there.
Oh,
Or not followed home, but followed to my car,
yeah.
and I actually came up with an alias name when I worked out there because people would say my name, you turn around like you know somebody, and then you realize, oh, I don't know this person,
Yeah.
so yeah, stuff like that. But
All
yeah,
right. But
yeah, I've had
you smart, you know.
I'm smart. My father grabbed somebody off stage one time. Yeah, had to. Then when I was younger, I was probably, maybe 18 at the time. I was playing at a club, and a guy got drunk and was trying to reach up and grab me on the stage and stuff. And my dad went man, he went dad mode real quick. Yeah. So
That's all right.
yeah.
Hey, let me ask you about your understand you have a luxury candle brand coming out. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It's to go along with igniting my fire. It just pairs so well with the name, the spark of flame to it. I've got my record on vinyl wax, so and now I decided to put it on candle wax.
All right.
And so it's really it's a beautiful, beautiful scent. It's based off of a perfume that I wear. This is going to be my first release on this with Igniting My Fire. And so I love a Versace Dylan Blue scent. So the candle will be inspired by that. And so I found a wonderful, wonderful manufacturer here locally. And so we've been able to get the scent together and all that. And so I'll pair the candle with a lyric card. You know, back in the day, you used to buy CDs and you get your CD booklets
Right.
and,
Yeah.
things
Liner
like that. So
notes. Yeah.
liner notes, all that stuff. So I'll add that into the candle and package that together with another roll-on oil or something like that. It's a
Recording stopped.
great uh great gift.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it'll be a great gift for those who are want a, anniversary gift and things because the lyrics to the song are so intimate. So it's a great gift box as well. But even by itself, the candle smells wonderful
Yeah.
and it's very nicely packaged. So
That's all right. Hey, so let's talk about your other releases. When you did Release Me, tell me something about Release Me. What was your inspiration behind Release Me?
that's actually a good question because the song changed quite a bit once I added Bobby Sparks on the keyboards. He kicked it back and I had to change the whole song because it's so beautiful. But uh the Release Me started off, I wrote that song years ago, long before I released it. It started off as like a placement for the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez.
Mm.
And so the song is actually about domestic violence. And so nothing I had ever really experienced. But the movie, kind of inspired me to have this storyline. And so when I first wrote the piece, I used to sing it out a lot live. And the lyrics were just very heavy. This which I can do at times too. So over time I started to just play it on saxophone so people wouldn't really feel that sad after listening to it, so
Right.
I started playing it on saxophone and that just became a thing and it just and it's very progressive in sections of the song and especially when I put cats like Mark Simmons on drums. Oh my gosh, he's just killing the drums on that record.
Yeah.
And so yeah, yeah. And so the inspiration was the movie Enough. And then after a while I said this got to be the first track on something so it's the first it's the first track on my EP. And so then I kind of went through this space of like, what do I introduce myself on stage? This is so a lot of times that's my opening song, a good way to come in hot.
Yeah, it is. So how'd you come up with your stage name? I love it, Shay on sax. So how'd you come up with that?
They came up with it. The people
Yeah.
did. And we
Yeah.
like, hey everybody, this is Shay on sax.
Yeah. Okay.
And then it just flowed because so I go by SOS. I got, my branding, like on the candle brand is gonna have SOS to stand for Shay on sax. But yeah, the people gave it to me. They gave me that
Right.
name.
That'll work. So let me ask you about Outside My Window featuring Bernard. Is that the same Bernard Wright from Chic?
Yeah. Who do you
Yeah.
love? Are you sure? Yeah, Bernard Wright. He's such an amazing songwriter. Oh, it was such a blessing to he recorded his part at my home. He came to my house and I've got I think he played my Kauai. I got a Kauai little baby electric baby grand in the studio. And he came to the house, he listened to my music, and he said, well, he said, you're a good songwriter. I said, oh, well, thank you. So I like this. I like this one here. What you need is this. And then he sat down and started. I said, hold on, let me press record first. Hold on. And so he actually he gifted himself on that project for me. And it was probably just about maybe a, a little under a year before he passed. And so I was just so honored that I got to share that experience with him. He was such a vibrant
Yeah.
personality. And we went out and we listened to some music in the city together too. And so just meeting and working with him was an honor. It was just such an honor. And he's a great songwriter. So for him to compliment my writing
Yeah.
was even, was really nice. And then to want to play on it, just, he was just coming over to hang and listen.
That's all right. So let me
But
ask
I
you.
hear that he's like that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he
He's
is.
just very giving like that
Let me
with
ask you a
music.
few little rapid fire questions, like favorite saxophonist.
Oh, Johnny Hodges.
All right. Favorite album.
Oh, favorite album. Oh, sheesh.
That's a hard one.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I got some good favorite albums.
First one come to mind.
As well, I'm sitting here looking at Miles sketches of Spain, but it's just sitting right there,
Okay, well, that'll
looking
work.
at me. So it's hard because I'm looking at all my records right
Yeah.
over there. Yeah.
Favorite city to perform in.
The New Orleans, they like to party.
All right. Dream collaboration.
Dream collaboration. Oh, well, I have two, but
You give
Sade
them both. Okay.
and and Esperanza. Yeah, she's great.
Spalding.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the bass player.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Yeah,
that would be a good time.
she's cold. You're right.
Yeah,
Marina Day will be a good one too.
yeah, she would be.
She cold too. Is okay.
Yeah.
Most memorable gig.
Um, I played on a yacht, and we at the front of the yacht as we were going through the water. That was nice.
That's
I went
awesome.
through a little town, and people sat outside. That was a fun gig.
All right. Favorite practice routine.
Um, well, the same, just the same thing. Just something consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah, consistent
Okay.
practice routine.
That's it. All right. Coffee or
when
tea.
it coffee for sure, but I drink tea rather
Okay.
often as well.
Favorite food on the road.
Oh, anything I can get that's healthy would be great.
I,
Salmon. Find some salmon somewhere, I'll be happy.
one musician you'd love to share the stage with.
Yeah, Sade. I would love to play with
Sade. Oh
her.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
oh yeah, yes, yes.
yeah.
One thing fans might not know about you.
Um, I love dogs and I have a lot of them, and it makes it very difficult to move around for sure. I have to yeah, have a dog sitter.
All right. Who influenced your singing?
My mother. My mother.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Did you
And
grow up
Sade. Sade
and
too.
Sade? All right.
Yes.
Did you grow up
Yeah.
singing in church as well?
No, I did not.
You did not?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
All
did not.
right.
I played, but I didn't sing in church.
When did you realize music was your calling?
It always has been. I was sitting on the step, and my father came up and said, "You always got a song in your head, don't you?" I said, "Yes, I do." I was very young then. Yeah.
Yeah. So what advice would you have for aspiring young musicians like the one you're teaching about the music business if you want to make this a career?
um, just believe in yourself, and be good and kind to others. Yeah. And that would be because there's going to be moments that you're going to feel weak. There's going to be moments that you're going to question if you did the right thing. And you just have to be real confident that you're making the right moves and doing the right things at the right times. And be patient and patience, let it happen when it's called to happen. And don't try to force yourself in. And then one last thing I would say is don't take any shortcuts. Make your music, make your own music.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
You've been described as an artist that plays with intentions. So when did music stop being about notes for you and start being about truth for you?
When I started journaling and that's how I started writing music, and so was inspired by, artists like Nina Simone and even current artists like India Ari and things like that to just write about different topics. Esperanza, I mentioned her
Yeah,
because I like that they expand their topics. Everything's not a love song, everything's not a breakup song. They just have a variety of feelings. And so that push that out. That's what I like.
what is your creative process for writing songs? How you get your inspiration for coming up with, My Dear, Standing Outside, and Release Me? How'd you come up with those original ideas?
Well, My Dear was a life experience. Um, Release Me was a movie. Some of my songs that happen in a dream. I wake up and then I run to my phone and put a voice note in, or I run in the studio and lay something down. And sometimes I hear a line, a bass line, or something like that, or a melody, and it just goes from there.
Do you have a do you have a booklet or anything with songs that aren't finished yet that you got stuff started on and you need to get a hook on this or whatever? Do you have some of that too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got a whole studio. Uh, I've got a whole doll full of songs
Yeah.
that are started, and then my songbook is like my journal at the same time. So I write in that, and poetry inspires me a lot too. When I first started songwriting, I studied poetry, and one of the things, and I it's a shame I can't remember the poet, is because she was very well known, but was saying to just be so descriptive in your writing when you just start writing. And she said to start poems, sit by the window and describe the trees outside, and how well can you describe the tree, what's sitting in the tree, what color is the tree, and you just go through this descriptive phase and learning how to put your words together in a way that tells a story, you know, through description. Yeah.
That's pretty good though. I can imagine that's probably one of the hardest parts is to come up with the music. I mean, you want to do an LP, say you want to do 8 songs and you might have 5 of them. Now it's just hard to get that writer's block coming in. It's hard to get those other three. Whenever do you have somebody you can kick things off of when you get
Um,
stuck on something?
um, uh, I've got so much stuff. I mean, a lot of times keyboard players. I've worked with two like co-producers and such and co-writers, Tombe Kamau and Bobby Sparks, that I really enjoyed to work with, and they're comfortable spaces for me, because that's one thing that as a songwriter who in writing lyrics, you have to be really comfortable with the people that you're sharing your rough drafts with.
Mhm.
They have to almost know you, and unless you're more free than that. For me, it's nice to have somebody that I'm really comfortable with. And then they'll say, and Tombe, he was actually somebody who would kick lyrics in from time to time too, and so I've never really been to big writing sessions with a bunch of people in a room and things. I write in private. Most of my songs are personal, so um do a lot of that in private. And I also try to tell other people's stories, that I see. I wrote a song about a single parent mother from my sister's experiences, growing up. So watching her. So I just try to use inspiration wherever I get it from. And again, that's the writer's block. There's that,
Yeah.
just be descriptive. Just start writing something and just explain it. And then it turns into art.
Have some of your, being a great player that you are and teacher, some of your, you proud of some of your students that have went on to high school or what have you, or have some of them
Hmm.
done some good
Hmm.
stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Few of them got their master's degree in music now,
Well,
and
oh yeah.
yeah, a couple of them had some scholarships and stuff like that. Now I can't. They're very talented when they came to me,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not a teacher that goes and teaches songs and says and teaches licks. I'm terrible. I only have a few licks in my closet, and I'm scared to give them away. So so they got to find their own licks. But I teach them, we go over scales, rudiments, patterns, mechanics, phrasing, and technique a lot. So um, that's what I focus on primarily by teaching.
All right. Well, I tell you what, Shay, this has been a wonderful interview. I really appreciate you. But before you go, I need where do you see yourself at in the next 5 years? Where's Shay on sax going to be in the next 5 years?
Yeah. Hanging out with where the musicians hang, for sure. Meeting more musicians, touring more, expanding my network. But my peers are in such good places, and I'm so I'll just be hanging out with them more often than less. Yeah, um, in the studio, still writing, still putting out new music, and then building the brand and just really falling more into the business side of it as well, and growing that way.
Do you always keep your horn on a stand?
I do. I have a
You do?
horn in almost every room.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah,
I got one in a mute here
I
for my time
see.
in a mute. See, but you know what? But and then right here, this is my new cannonball. So I was just practicing.
Ooh,
Yeah, I got two of them. I got the
yes,
A5. Yeah. So I was practicing this before I talked to you though. So I'm just an
yeah,
amateur saxophonist, intermediate, but I just enjoy watching you guys and I live through you, watching you do your thing. And I post a little bit on YouTube and all that stuff myself too, though. But it's just a
yeah.
blast though to play music, isn't it though?
It is.
You
It
know.
is. Yeah. And enjoy the ride, because everybody you meet, you just never know when that's gonna be your last time playing with them.
Yeah.
And so it's such a treat. That's the great thing about music. You get to do it with other people and feel each other, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great place to be.
Well, Shay, before you go, anything else you'd like to add before we go? Anything you want to promote
Um,
or give out your social information and all that good stuff?
yeah, yeah.
Please
Well,
do.
follow me, Shay on Sax. I need YouTube subscribers. I need Spotify subscribers and Apple Music subscribers and Pandora, whatever it is y'all listen to. Just go out and find my music and share it. All my social medias are Shay on Sax. So my social media is Shay on Sax, but my music, when it's released through platforms, music platforms, is Shayla Logan. It's my full name, Shayla Logan, and then Shay on sax. So I'm out here, just I'm trying to grow and meet more people and get them on the Shay train, I guess.
That's all right. You have any shows coming up that you can promote?
Um, that definitely the release coming up. I'm planning on putting some together for that. And I do have a residency in Dallas, at the Tower Club Dallas. So you can catch me there. I'm there every month, once a month, and then so then I'm planning on getting on the road here. We're working out dates and places and things. So um, but yeah, so I keep all that on my website, shayonsax, and you'll have an update calendar there. So
Shay, it's been a wonderful interview. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna keep following you. Keep doing your thing. Keep giving back, and just keep glowing and growing, my sister.
thank you. And it was such an honor to talk to another sax player.
Yeah, because I
I
know most
was,
time you do those interviews, most of those people are not musicians, so it's a little bit
yeah,
different. So
yeah,
we can talk
it's very
mouthpieces.
different.
Yeah,
That part, I
yeah.
loved that.
Read.
That
Oh,
was fun.
what
Yeah,
reed you use? I forgot to ask you that. What reed
Van
you use?
Doren ZZs. I play Van Doren ZZs.
Three medium or what? What are you playing?
Uh, well, it depends on my tenor. I play a 3.5, and that's on a metal mouthpiece. So I play a stronger reed with those. And then my alto, I play 3.5 or three on alto. That soprano, I gotta bump that down to. That's gotta be like a three. I gotta
No
that
synthetic.
soprano.
No synthetics for you. No Legier?
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I don't really. I've had Legures and stuff. It's cool. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you really want Doobie in your funk? No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying the synthetics are cool. A
Yeah.
lot of people are really enjoying them.
Yeah.
There's a
I
couple
play them.
different
I do
ones on.
both. I do mostly Legier 2.0, 225, so it's all
Yeah,
good.
Legers are nice. That if
Yeah.
I were to play a synthetic, that would definitely be the one. I've had a couple and stuff like that. So
All
it's
right.
kind of find my way back to the ZZ.
All right, Shay. You have a wonderful rest of the week, my sister, and it was a pleasure talking to you. You're such a ray of sunshine. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure speaking with you.
Take
Be
care.
well.
Ladies and
Uh-huh.
gentlemen, that is Shay on sax. Don't forget to check out her new project coming out July the 31st. All right. You guys take care.